Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon, Selena. How are you today?
Not too bad, thank you. How are yourself, Richard?
I'm not too bad, thank you.
Good.
Good. How is everyone else today?
All good. Sun shining.
It is. Whereabouts in the UK are you based?
I'm in Leeds.
Oh, Leeds. Oh, not too far. Not too far away from myself. I'm Derby. Not a million miles away. How's everyone else today? Is everyone else okay? Yeah. I think I've seen you speaking, Tim, but I couldn't hear you.
Bear with.
Oh, there we go. How are you today, Tim?
I'm all right, thank you. How's everyone else?
Good.
Good, thanks.
Good.
Good. It's lovely to see you all this afternoon. We've got
And you?
we've got a few more to come. We'll just hang on for a little bit if that's okay. And then we'll kind of progress forward. Okay, can you hear me okay still? I can see there's a couple of people not got their videos on. If you could, it would be helpful. But if not, please don't worry about that. Did everyone have a good summer?
Lovely, thanks.
What we had of it, we've probably got more sun today than the whole of the summer.
Yeah, I think you're right there.
Yeah. Did anyone do anything interesting?
Nice holiday to Ibiza. I've just come back off recently. Unfortunately, I've come back with a cold, so I think it's my own fault for being on a plane.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah. What about yourself,
Mm.
Richard?
I actually got married.
Of course you did. Yes, congratulations.
Congratulations.
I did. Thank you. So yeah, I got married at the end of July, and then we went on honeymoon to
lovely.
to Rhodes early August. All went well until you missed the plane.
Oh no.
Missed it on the way.
Oh,
man.
how did you manage that?
Long story, really. But we was at the terminal waiting to get in, and we didn't realise that Manchester Airport, they don't actually call you anymore.
Oh
So you're
no.
there, wait. So you're there. We was literally round the corner, and we're waiting, and we checked must have been about 45 minutes before the plane was due, and still not calling. So went and got a coffee, changed baby's bum, and it's final call, and we got there and too late. It's like
Oh
with
no.
there's nothing we can do. We've already taken your luggage off.
That's not a great start, is it?
It wasn't, and then they wanted us to kind of rebook for tomorrow.
Oh right. Oh blimey.
So yeah, not didn't really echo customer service excellence, really.
I like the way you drop that in.
Got to drop it in somewhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, got there eventually, just about 9 hours late.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Not too bad. It could have been about 30, 40.
Yeah.
So what we'll do, I think it'll be good if we kind of make a start. Don't want to take too much of your times up when you've attended on time. We are expecting a few more, so I may accept them as they come through. But what we'll do, we'll make a start then. So welcome to our 6 weekly networking chat meeting. So it's hosted by Assessment Services. For those that haven't met me, I'm Richard Adkins. I'm the Systems and Finance Manager at the head office. And I'm also a registered assessor now as well. I will be joined by my colleague Lorna shortly. I know she's be attending shortly, so she will also be attending. She's a registered assessor at Assessment Services as well. The session is being recorded, and it will be shared on the Assessment Services community for those that are interested in sharing this with others, whether that's inside your organisation. Just a little bit of housekeeping. So an hour is allocated for the event, so we will close at 3 p.m. UK time. However, if anyone does want a conversation after, I will leave the meeting open for as long as required. I'll also allow you to manage your own microphone, but you can just please be aware of any background noises. I do apologize if any dogs go off in the background. They should be shut off and away. But the purpose of today's event is to share experiences and learn from each other. And this is linked directly to elements of the standard, which is 4.2.4, which is about developing and learning from best practice. And in some cases, this has led to benchmarking, which addresses 4.2.3 of the standard. So today's topic, we're going to discuss a post-COVID world. And what we'd like to do, we'd like to put you into breakout rooms. Probably put you into 3 breakout rooms based on the number of people that's attended at the moment. And we'll put you into a breakout room, and we'd like to discuss a topic, what we're going to choose, and then just kind of come back to the main room and have a bit of a discussion about what you've chatted about. Breakout room probably be about for 10 minutes. But it'll be good if you could kind of allocate a spokesperson just at the end so we can all feed back. But the first topic that we're going to discuss is, how did your organization react to COVID? How was your services impacted? And what advantages and disadvantages have you seen? So I'll recap that then. So it's, how did your organization react to COVID? How was your services impacted? And what advantages and disadvantages have you seen since COVID? So I'll put you all into a breakout room now. I will kind of flit in between the 3. But it'd be great if you could allocate a spokesperson, and then we'll come back to each of the 3 groups and then have a bit of a discussion. Does anyone have any queries on that? Anyone unsure of the task? Okay, great. I will start to put out the breakout rooms. Right, okay, bear me 1 second. Right, so I'm just assigning these now. So you should soon have access. Okay, you should be going in any second now. Please let me know if you're not in, and I'll dip back out. Okay, thank you. I'll see you soon. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hiya, is that everyone back? Think so, yeah. Okay, hope you all had a good discussion then, and you'll manage to participate. I think normally what we'd like to do now is just have a bit of a gathering now, just have a bit of a discussion with the key points from the discussion. So who was in room 1?
Yes, there were 4 of us in that group, and 2 of us from a university, and then 2 in housing sector and in social. Lisa, it was social. Sorry, you
I just realised that. Social care.
Wonderful, social care. And I think our response when COVID came out was very, very different depending on the institution. It sounds like Alistair had a very agile institution that was able to respond quite quickly and quite coherently. I'd say us at Aberystwyth, universities are possibly less agile and need 17,000 meetings to discuss even one small thing. So that was difficult to do, but it was legislatively necessary. So we had to do that quickly. Alistair, I think you had you've just had positives from your transformation.
Yeah, absolutely. I think both from the staff point of view, but also our customers have not experienced a negative impact. I think there was a bit of a worry that with staff being based hybrid working or working at home, working in the office split, it might lead to deterioration in services, but it's not. So no, we only really have positives to tell about coming out of COVID.
Okay. Any further comments from room one?
No, I think that's us.
No.
Unless Elizabeth.
No,
although
okay.
Elizabeth's disappeared.
Okay, great. Room two.
Hi, I've been nominated to talk on that one, but it's no surprise there because I'm quite chatty anyway.
Thanks,
So
Selena.
we had a general conversation. So I work for Balfour Beatty, so construction company, and the other two ladies that I spoke to worked in the healthcare sector, and they were quite different. So working in the construction sector, we had a lot of comms that were coming down from sort of the group perspective, and some people were furloughed, but the majority of people were allowed to work from home unless they were operatives. But the amount of work was decreased in order to reduce that risk. And there was a lot of support from group and obviously IT to allow us to work from home. So it was quite a quick reaction from Balfour Beatty. But speaking to the other two ladies, I think being in that healthcare environment, it was a lot more stressful for them because you've got people that are actually staff dealing with families and going out there and being exposed to that risk. For them trying to get PPE, creating a response plan if somebody did come down with COVID, trying to reduce the patients that they saw, increasing the cleaning time in between patients. It was a lot more involved than somebody that had the luxury, if you will, of being an office worker that could then just go and work from home during COVID. So it was quite interesting to hear other people's perspectives about that. And again, services impacted. For us, it was quite straightforward being a construction company, reducing the amount, unless it was something that was extremely urgent, we could do a lot of our work, via emails and on phones and on Teams. Whereas for the people that are out there on the front line, it's totally different. They're actually being exposed to that risk. So they obviously did try to reduce the services where they could, but to this day, the conversation was about the impact is still being felt. So a lot of people after that COVID period did leave due to sort of the stress of what had happened and being exposed to that level of almost danger. Because people didn't know at the start of COVID how serious it was going to be and what the ramifications were going to be. And now recruitment seems to be especially tough within social care. And there's definitely, and I recognise this as well, there's definitely been a lack of recognition between, people in the NHS. We were standing there clapping for them, but were we doing the same for other people that were on the front line? We weren't. So I think that was something that's been felt by a lot of people, and it's had a sort of knock-on effect. Because we were talking so much, we didn't get through to all of the disadvantages and advantages. We did say that, companies are more agile now. Balfour Beatty have implemented a 60-40 work-life balance, so you can work from home now. So that's beneficial to a lot of people as well. But that was sort of as far as we got. So that's sort of a bit of an overview of our chat.
Thank you for that, Selena. It sounds like you had a really good chat in that room. Shame you didn't have the opportunity to just go that little bit further on that occasion. But yeah, it sounds like a bit of a mixed bag. Some organisations were very agile, as with room one, and some was a little bit more long-winded and having that red tape.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Room three.
Oh, hi, I'm the nominated representative to feedback.
Thank you, Tim.
We had 2 reps from housing associations and 1 rep from a leisure company. If I start off quickly with Hull Culture and Leisure, which is an arm's length company for Hull Local Authority. leisure services, you can imagine the kind of difficulties that they encountered with swimming and gym, social distancing, and the capacity of the activities. And then you'd have the hit in the income as well, with the risks involved. So those were the major discussions around health, culture and leisure, unless anybody wants to jump in with any further information. The other one then is Housing Association, Kingdom Housing Association in Fife. The representative was a customer engagement officer dealing with tenant participation and service improvement. And the feeling was it shifted things more online to keep people involved. It tended to work in their favour. They've got a scrutiny panel of 10 tenants, and they use a hybrid approach. And being that the area is so wide, then a hybrid approach helps. Disadvantages is the impact of the costs of living, and, you know, trying to keep abreast of any rent issues going forward. I actually started off the meeting, being a director, I was responsible for all of the health and safety issues as soon as COVID hit. And I never want to go through that again in my life, to say the least. I think what it did do as an advantage was it made us think that, right, we need to get so many laptops to ensure that we still can provide a service. We needed to liaise with our outsourced IT company as well, and the staff, to make sure that they had all of the tools to be able to do the job from their homes. And that could have included desks to their homes, chairs to their homes, you name it. We made sure that they had it. Part of the difficulty then was deciding what services we could provide. And the decision was taken that we could do the odd visit if requested and if it was urgent, deemed to be urgent. And repairs wise, we were only doing emergency repairs. And the way that we broached that with our tenants was, we're trying to keep ourselves safe and we're trying to keep you safe. But we had to do the emergency repairs. We had a whole process to go through where the tenants would be in one room, we'd be in the other, wearing PPE, etc. We also, one of the advantages was in our community, because people were finding it difficult to get hold of food, etc. We were delivering food parcels and activity parcels to our tenants as well. So we picked up some really positive comments from our tenants during that period. Coming out of it wasn't so good. And the reason being for that was we had an issue whereby the policy changed for ASB behaviour during the COVID period. And it was a Welsh Government decision where we couldn't evict. And what we were getting were flashpoints of ASB behaviour where we were having it thrown back in our faces, where they were saying, well, you just cannot evict us anyway, so we can do whatever we want to do. And that took us a period of time to deal with. And also we had a backlog of repairs. And that caused some difficulties because there was heightened expectations and people were expecting all outstanding repairs to be done within the first week. And quite clearly that couldn't be done. So we had to do further correspondence to them, explaining why it couldn't be done, and factoring in then new dates for when we were going to do the repairs for each individual tenant. It did heighten health and safety issues coming out of it, and we've got a health and safety committee that meets on a regular basis, and for a period of time before all restrictions were lifted, we were still very, very tight with people coming into the office and maintaining that if they had any symptoms, then they had to stay away from the office. What I relayed to the group was, as soon as all of the restrictions were lifted, we had a massive COVID outbreak and 18 staff were off on the sick with it. So it just illustrates the difference that, you know, making sure that you're isolated makes to COVID. There we are.
Thank you for that, Tim. It sounds like your service may have been severely disrupted if you had 18 staff off immediately.
Yep. Certainly was.
Mm. Well, I think you've all kind of discussed there that the IT services obviously was all given a bit of a push once COVID had hit. It was interesting that you touched on the cost of living crisis, and now we're still feeling the effect of that 3-4 years later. So that was great. Thank you for all your participation into that. Does anyone have any questions to each other from each other's groups? Or any comments that you any questions you'd like to ask before we move into the next breakout room?
I'd say about that cost of living crisis, and that was something which, from a university point of view, and I don't know, Jessica, if that was the same for you, but the trying to get equity with students who were at home and saying you need to have online lectures now, and they had no computer equipment, trying to get laptops out to those, trying to get finance sorted to try to identify what was needed to get as much equity as possible for students who were either isolating in their rooms or somewhere else, was really, really difficult. But it did highlight a university-wide response that was needed to identify those students in need, which has continued on. That's been one of the things that has continued on, that equity of access.
I think the cost of living crisis also is one of the factors that is making continued recruitment in social care so difficult. So pre-COVID, staff were managing on minimum wage, and they've had two or three increases actually since then, but it's just not matching inflation, and it's just becoming a very last resort place to enter as a career path, which is quite sad.
It is very sad, really. Hopefully we're at the end of that curve. Hopefully we'll know more shortly. But what we'll do, we've got another topic now. Again, we'd like to put you into breakout rooms. Again, this will be for about another 10 minutes. But the topic for this one is, what services have not returned? Do you miss them as an organisation? And do you ever see them returning to a pre-COVID service? So that was, what services have not returned? Do you miss them as an organisation? And do you see them ever returning to a pre-COVID service? So I'll transfer you to a breakout room again. Again, we'll keep this open for 10 minutes, and hopefully you'll be kind of mixed up into different groups this time. I'll see you in 10. Thank you.
Obviously, you've got a good chat and ready to get back onto it. You're on mute.
No, I can't hear you, Selena.
Oh, sorry. Hey, Richard.
Mm.
You all right, Lorna? I've not spoke to you for a few months.
No, I'm fine. All good.
Good.
Lots happening as always, but not. How's things with yourself?
Same as you, really busy, to be honest. So, yes, I'm just recovering I've had a really bad cold, but I came back from holiday from Ibiza, so it's my own fault. So, get to back in the afternoon. I'm ready for a break and like a little nap and a Kit Kat, but I'm today.
Are you working from home still?
No, I'm in the office today, so yeah, I will be leaving here probably about 4:30ish today, so I can't complain.
Good, excellent. Everybody's back then, Richard.
Lovely. Hope you all had a good chat then. I managed to all have the opportunity to discuss. My computer's going a bit daft here. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my computer. It's gone all a bit swiggly. Right, so the topics were, what services have not returned? Do you miss them as an organisation? And do you ever see them returning back to a pre-COVID service? So who would like to share their thoughts from room one?
Yes, I'll do that. Room one was
Thanks,
just
Jessica.
That's okay, no problem. Room one was just myself and Selena. So Selena mentioned for her organisation, the core and the vast majority of the service is back to pre-COVID. However, we did talk a little bit about the benefits of hybrid working. Selena's manager is based in Scotland, so being able to be managed from a different area, and having that flexibility to offer staff the ability to work from home on a particular day if they want to. And then in terms of my own organisation, I mentioned this in the previous breakout with Elizabeth as well. So I'm from Cardiff University. So our offering of professional development was predominantly face-to-face training courses prior to the pandemic. And obviously everything quickly moved to online learning during the pandemic. But what we're grappling with now is that sweet spot in the middle. So we're finding that customers are recognizing again the value of face-to-face training. However, sometimes for personal reasons, financial reasons, sustainability reasons, some people still want online training, so we're trying to find the balance there for our customers, and also being a bit more individualized with our customer journey. So our delegates are not your traditional student as you would think, so straight out of A levels to university. They're people who are picking up learning at different points during their career and their life, and we're just trying to make sure that the university structures and communications and things like that are tailored to that particular customer group. So for instance, I've got delegates on a structural geology course who are based all around the world. So I had an example recently where one of my delegates had an IT problem, and the IT department asked if he would come in with his laptop, and my customer's based in Kenya. So I can't imagine that he was going to make that journey no matter how bad the IT problems were. So it's just thinking about those individualized customer journeys going forward.
And that's perfect where that virtual learning comes into place there, isn't it? Okay, thank you, Jessica. Room two.
Happy to talk for Karine and Sarah. So it's three different areas of work, but I think we all agreed that the face-to-face, the personal contact is still very much reduced. But there were some advantages and disadvantages to that. So the home working and the increased use of technology such as video training, online training, means you can be more productive, and you can take on more work or more clients or more customers. But there is a bit of a payoff with losing, maybe some of the quality of those interactions, those face-to-face interactions, attending face-to-face conferences, doing face-to-face training, getting out there and seeing clients and colleagues more rather than just, tapping away and getting more and more done and seeing that productivity is the end goal. So I think probably for our service, we're just starting to think about, like you said, Jessica, finding a sweet spot. The best of the advantages of what we learned from working in a different way during COVID, but trying to minimize the disadvantages and to pull in what we were doing before COVID that did inject that quality into what we were doing and delivering. And I think for me as well, I know I am less present in our day services and accommodation, and I have fewer conversations directly with our service users. And I want that to change, but the only way that will change is if I carve out more time and take on less, because to counter that, also achieving more, we're getting more through more referrals. So it's working out, what that sweet spot is and how much of what we were doing pre-2020 is really missed and possibly detrimental, and trying to bring that back. So yeah, I think everybody's continued a little bit, to work in different ways to greater or lesser degrees.
Again, much like room one, it's finding that happy medium, that sweet spot.
Yeah.
Room three, did you have a similar conversation?
Really useful conversation, and Alistair and Tim, coming from housing associations, jump in if I'm misrepresenting or if I missed something very, very quickly, because I realize we've only got seconds to go. Talking about hybrid work, how trusting employees had been really, really useful, transforming, for us at least, that work culture. And, you know, we had to trust staff to be working from home because they had to work from home. And there wasn't this thing of, well, you're working from home, you're just doing your laundry and childcare. You know, there has to be that level, and there's been definite improvements in work culture there, with I think some issues, Alistair and Tim, you mentioned this as well, with potential inequities being raised about those staff who have to be delivering a frontline service and cannot have the luxury, as it were, of being at home 5 days a week or even 3 days a week, however it is, because they have to be delivering that frontline service. So that's not resolved yet, is it? Both of you, that remains a sort of something which is which is grating at the moment. In terms of what services have not returned, I think we all agreed that there are no services. We've returned back to all the services and taken on more. So where we're doing hybrid services, where we're delivering things online as well as face to face, as well as in different ways. So taking on more. Do we miss them? Well, we've gone back. So we're still doing the same services that we've been doing plus more. Do we see things returning to a pre-COVID service? No. I think we're all three of us in a different place now, and we can see things are working. Wouldn't want to return obviously to COVID, but there have been benefits to what has changed in our work environment that we are happy to see continue forward. And I think that's it. Tim and Alistair, is there anything else to mention there? Great.
Nope, covered everything. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Great. Lovely, thank you. I think there was all very similar comments throughout all the rooms there. Then, just conscious of time because we've got 1 more minute. Does anyone else have any questions to each of the other rooms?
I'd say that one benefit has been knowing those solutions like IT problems for people who are based in Kenya, or people who are wherever they are, being able to have those IT services for everybody, where an IT member of staff can just take over your desktop and provide those solutions. So whether you're in person or whether you're in Kenya or whether you're doing research in a glacier in Antarctica, you've got the same equity of service depending on Wi-Fi. Then that's been really beneficial as well from a customer point of view.
No, I'd agree on that. I think we would call our IT manager doing it that way if we had a difficulty. Right. Well, thank you everyone for attending today and your participation. Hope you found that beneficial and insightful. We have recorded the session, and it will be input on the assessment services community shortly. If you've not signed up, please let me know, and I'll be able to send you the registration link. You will be able to access the recording normally in about a week or so, but please also feel free to share it with your colleagues and ask them to sign up to the community because they'll be able to access all the other recordings for the sessions as well. The community is free. So like I said, just please let me know and I'll be able to send you a registration link. If you've not signed up to our newsletter as well, we do a monthly one. You can access this via our website, or again, if you just let me know and I can add you to the list, and you'll get access to our future network and chat discussions, as well as other articles and news that's going on, as well as information on the Assessment Services Awards. They're typically in winter, and more information will be released up on them shortly, as with the next network and chat. It's probably likely the next network and chat is likely to be around about the end of November, early December. But if you've got any queries, please don't hesitate to give Assessment Services a call, an email, or to reach out to your allocated assessor. Okay, if no one's got anyone else queries, thank you all for your time today and participating.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.